What does it take to be a great chiropractor? Well, it takes a lot of qualities that merge, sort of infuse into a great doctor. Number one, you got to care. You have to care about people. You got to want to help them. And if that's not your gig, then you're in the wrong profession. You're here to serve. So sometimes you're going to go down to the office, late at night. Sometimes you're going to go down there on the weekends because you're serving people and there's a need and they need help. And you're called to serve. And the other thing is you got to be a good listener. You got to be a good listener. You got to be a good observer. Because if you do that, like 90% of your diagnosis is made. Just look at the patient, listen to them, watch how they move, watch how they sit down, watch how they walk across the room. Look at everything. And, the human body tells a story. It's just that very few people care to read it and to listen to it. But if you do, you're going to help the patient more than you ever imagined. And the other thing is, great doctors, they want to be great doctors. I mean, they go the extra mile. They study more. I've traveled all over the world to learn things in chiropractic. And the more you do this, the better you are. Now, you couldn't have told me that when I first got out of school, when I was 5 years out or when I was 10 years out. If you told me that 25 years out, that those doctors were better doctors, I'd be, now they're old timers, whatever. That's simply not true. The longer you're in practice, the more clinical background you have, the more patients you've seen, the more strange things you've seen, the exotic things that you don't normally see in practice, and just, you have more clinical experience. And the other thing is, if you want to be a great doctor, then you've done what you need to do to continue to educate yourself. Every year, in December, the first week in December, I sit down and I plan out the following year. Everything about it. And one of the things that I always plan is, what do I want to learn in the next year? So some years it's been pediatrics, some years it's been whiplash injuries, some years it's been things about sports injuries, some things it's been about geriatrics, our seniors, sometimes it's been about work injuries, but you have to want to learn, and you gotta go the distance. There have been years that I have done 10 times the amount of hours or more that I needed for my continuing education hours in a year. But you gotta want to learn year after year after year. It doesn't matter how long you've done this. You gotta want to learn more, you gotta want to be more, and you gotta do what it takes. And the other thing about great doctors is they walk the talk. It's great to tell patients, you need to do this and you need to do that. And there's a lot of doctors that do that. But you know what? The best doctors lead by example. They do exactly what they ask their patients to do. I've always believed in that. And I think if you put all those things together, those are the characteristics that you find in doctors that are really great.